Some are described as warm, some as kind or charitable, and some as made of gold. Whatever your heart may be, it's worth the care the Trinity Heart Center can give. Experienced specialists, advanced procedures, and a commitment to quality make us a leader in heart care. Trinity's accredited chest pain center at Trinity Health System.
Hey, welcome to season 4, 5. It's been so many I can't remember. Star Sportscast. That means football season's here, and week 1's already in the books. Hello, I'm Mike Mathison, back for more punishment, and this sidekick dude, Matthew Peaslee, back for way more punishment.
Oh boy, this is my season 1.5, kind of.
That's right. You got to do a half a season,
I'm picking off where we left off.
And of course, our third is Fred Johnson. He's actually doing manual labor now, so he'll be a guest here sometime just because. Might be Casper the guest, but he'll be Casper. Yeah. He'll be the guest. All right, week 2 high school football, what they say the fastest 10 weeks of your life, so to speak, which is we have like a whole bunch of games. We have most on Friday night, one on Saturday night. But before we get into that, we have our gridiron, the gridiron, right here. I feel like Vanna White.
Dude, precedent changes letters.
Yeah, exactly. It's available at some fine establishments for $2.95.
It's a steal.
It's literally the best thing we've ever done. 132 pages, magazine style, all color. Looks really nice. Some really good stories in there. I would highly advise you go pick it up. Rosters, names, schedules, people, kids, and it was good stuff.
Action-packed in there.
It was actually your first one with us.
Yeah, and had a good time meeting new coaches, talking to players, and it looks beautiful.
It does.
It's so much fun just to look through it and know that you and Michael D. McElwain put in so much work for this. And,
the OCD czar, Michael D. McElwain.
It's really paid off and looks fantastic. Highly recommend picking one up because we had fun putting it together, and you guys will have fun reading it.
It was a blast. It was a lot of fun. All right, week 2 starts this week, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games on Friday night. And we'll start in most of the games. 7 of the 9 games are at 7 p.m., starting with Cincinnati Glen Este. Would you say Este?
Estee Lauder.
Estee Lauder.
Shampoo.
At Steubenville Big Red. Steubenville Big Red's they're both 1-0, both by huge margins of victory. Steubenville Big Red had 498 yards last week against JFK. We were both on the sidelines. And that run defense is a little on the nasty side.
Yeah, we just mentioned Brandon Jones's name a lot because he was in on that safety they had, and the JFK couldn't get anything going.
He hurt some people.
Yeah, it was fun to watch Big Red just on both sides of the ball because they put up some big numbers on offense and shut them down on defense too. So, and they ran the ball well. They threw the ball deep a lot, and really good showing in week 1. Again, JFK's not. They're going to be facing some teams a lot tougher than JFK, but it was kind of a good warm up game.
It was a good opener. Some mistakes. We saw, I think, back-to-back offsides by Steubenville's defense, and Coach Sack called timeout and kind of went out and said hello.
Yeah, just real nice.
My man. That's 7 p.m. at Harding Stadium. Cleveland, the Cincinnati school is a D2 school. Okay. So first time they played in I don't know how long, so we'll see what happens. The only game pitting 2 of our local teams against each other is 1-0 Weir High at 1-0 at Harrison Central. Weir High beat Steubenville Central last week 33-20. Harrison Central beat Buckeye Trail 20-19 on the road, which is a nice win by Harrison. Weir piled up 456 yards of total offense. You were at that game.
They're fast.
They are fast.
They got the balls to their playmakers, Cam Davis, Donovan Spencer,
JoJo
Rice, and Will Larch has been back there long enough. He knows how to run this offense pretty well, and they look pretty good. I mean, the second half, I think they only scored once, but they did a great job in the first half setting the tone, and Steubenville Central really just couldn't keep up with their speed on offense.
A lot of people who had question marks about Weir High, and a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them were answered Saturday night in the doubleheader, the Clash of the Carry. Weir High had one issue, though. 18 penalties for 164 yards.
Yeah.
Cannot do that in week 2, and at on the road, that means loss.
Yeah, this could be one of the better games that we
Absolutely
on our schedule because not only is it two local teams, it's two fairly decent local
and
teams.
you'll be there.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. Yeah, I'll be there.
The interesting part for Harrison Central is they had gained 311 yards of total offense against Buckeye Trail, but 204 in the air.
Yeah.
I didn't know Justin Croppa knew how to throw a forward pass.
I saw Giovanni Rocky made a couple nice catches and scored for him too. And it'll be I'd like to see a high scoring game.
I think you might
just go back and forth and use their speed on both sides of the ball. Both these teams.
Then we got 0-1 East Liverpool at 1-0 Indian Creek in completely different games. East Liverpool lost to Carrollton 44-2 under a first-year coach. Indian Creek wins 9-8 in a defensive stalwart battle. And it's Indian Creek's opener. They had 220 yards of offense. They're going to live this year on the ground. Yeah. Live on the ground.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like East Liverpool got anything done on offense or defense against that Carrollton game.
Carrollton's a good ball club. So that'll be game 2 for Creek. And then the other good game of the night is Tuskegee Catholic at Weirton Madonna. Tuskegee Catholic is 1-0. They beat Lowellville.
It's up my way.
25-10. What do you know about Lowellville?
They're kind of a team that's been down for a decade. A decade, 10 years. Like they're kind of an afterthought up in the Youngstown area, but they've been coming back the past 2 years. And I heard some people talking back home about that game, and they said that Lowellville looked good, even though they lost 25-10. And Lowellville's not a bad team. They're not going to go to the playoffs. They may have a winning record.
Okay.
Madonna obviously is a lot better team than that. They're used to playoff runs and state championship runs, and it's a different team for them this year, but it will be a good test for them because maybe it's a team they don't really know too well in Tuskegee Catholic. But
they played last year as a game originally scheduled for noon, got moved to 7 o'clock under the ever popular portable lights, which is basically a bunch of cars lined up around the field. And
at Tuskegee Catholic.
Yeah, seriously. It was a noon, Saturday afternoon, and Saturday afternoon football is awesome, but they decided to go to 7 o'clock under portable lights, and it wasn't the smartest decision in the world. Madonna had 421 yards of total offense last week against Bellsville, who young, inexperienced. But if you're going to watch Madonna at home, kids, this is the last time for the next 6 weeks or seven weeks because they are on the road till Halloween.
Yeah, wow.
So
this will be a good game to see.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good game to see. Really good game to see. Beaver Local is 0-1. They lost to who they lose to. I'm drawing a blank. Sorry, but they lost 17-14 because I'm just – anyway, they're at Glen. Glen had a nice win, 17-14 against Edison at Weir High in the opener clash at the Carry. Colin Williams, freshman, drills home a 22-yard field goal with time expired.
Awesome.
Nice opener for the Glen Golden Bears.
After not winning a game last year, it's a perfect way to set the tone.
Perfect way to set. Chase Hartley had 200 and something yards of passing. Micah Swiger, if that team stays healthy, I think it's going to be.
They were fun to watch. It was so hot on the sidelines of that game at the Jimmy Carey Stadium, but Micah Swiger and Chase Hartley did some good things on offense and ended up winning that game.
They gained 359 yards of total offense, so they did a really nice job against Edison. Really nice job against Edison.
A game that could have gone either way looking at it coming in, and obviously it came down to the last second, literally. And good for Oakland.
It's a good win for them. Now, speaking of Edison, they had 347 yards of total offense. It's not like
they didn't play a bad game either.
No, they didn't. Ethan Shannon was their workhorse, and everyone expected Ethan Shannon to be the workhorse, and he's going to be the workhorse.
Yeah. And he's a tough back. I mean, he's not the biggest guy, not the biggest running back, but he's tough. I saw him hit some holes pretty hard against Oakland there, and had some nice runs.
Now they have to go to Carrollton, which beat Liverpool 44-2, and I think it's Carrollton's first game on the community field's new turf. So Carrollton now has turf, and Carrollton's a good football team. Yeah, so
it'll be tough for Edison. I mean, they'll be looking to bounce back, obviously, because they probably think they could have won that game.
Absolutely.
And it'll be a tough test for them on the road at Carrollton on turf again. They were on turf on last Saturday, and they're
turf again.
Playing turf.
They just need that's a tall task for the Wildcats, but you never know.
Yeah, just why you play.
Toronto, which lost at Wellsville, which game you were at. They go to Bridgeport, who lost to Valley. Toronto's problem was 25 carries for 16 yards.
They couldn't get anything done on the ground. It was a mix of maybe a new offensive line coming in. They're pretty young. I think talking to Coach Meek after the game, there's 3 sophomores, a freshman, and one senior on their offensive line. So it might take a while for them to gel. They really just couldn't get anything done on the ground. And Wellsville's a tough team, too. They went to the playoffs last year.
Right.
Had a really good season.
And Richie Wright does a good job up there.
Not the same team as last year by any means. Toronto was in that game. They threw the ball really well. I mean, Blaze Glen is tough, but even he couldn't. I mean, I saw him last year for a little bit, and when he would scramble, he could pick up 10 yards on any given play after running 5 back and 5 to the side. He was a quick guy, but he threw the ball really well. I think he hit 6 or 7 different receivers. Had a 45-yard pass to Ty West, a sophomore, down the sidelines early in the first half for him. So if they could get that passing game going, or continue that passing game and run the ball a little bit better than they did against Wellsville.
They have to run the ball better. Coach Meek loves to run the ball. Yeah. He just loves to run the ball.
And they moved Charles Ross III to a running back, but they ended up throwing the ball to him towards the end of the game. But all the running backs just had a tough time running it against
Wellsville. Morgantown, which beat Anacostia DC like 40-something to nothing, because everybody beats Anacostia 40-something to nothing. They're at Brooke. Brooke lost to Indian Creek 9-8 in a highly defensive battle. The one stat that I think is find highly interesting with Brooke High, they only had 115 yards of total offense, and they had 14 penalties for 114 yards.
That's another team that needs to clean up.
I understand you have a new coach, new staff, but a lot of that is just getting it. I mean, and if you figure that out and cut that by like 80%, you're in the ball game.
Yeah.
And they were in the ball game against Creek.
Yeah,
they'll be really. They really, because they have a lot of good weapons. They have a lot. Their defense was really good against Creek. They allowed 220 yards total. So it's not like their defense played poorly. It was just a lot of mistakes, and they just shot themselves in the foot way too often.
Yeah, I mean, it was a game they were in too, like you said.
From day one. I mean, from the opening, it was just. I think Brooke's going to be fine. I really think Coach McLean is going to be fine, but they have to cut down on mistakes.
It's a tough team. It's almost like Edison losing a tough game and trying to bounce back against a really tough opponent. That's what Brooke's going to do.
But at least Brooke gets to bounce back at home. Edison's got to go on the road.
Yeah. So
and Toronto's got to bounce back on the road.
Yeah.
So, at least Oak Glen gets Beaver Local at home. Yeah. And the last game on Friday night is Buckeye Local at Union Local. Both are 0-1. Union Local lost to Monroe Central, I think, 20-19. Buckeye got beat by Ferry 36-zip. I think Buckeye only had 17 yards of total offense.
That's tough.
They really need to figure something out here soon.
I mean, obviously Union Local is not the best team around, but
they're young.
They got my boy Colton McKivitz, who's going to WVU.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be tough running up against him. I'm excited to see what he can do this year, but it's tough for Buckeye Local to go up against a kid like that.
Yep,
it's just huge.
It's huge. And the only Saturday night game, and the Morgantown at Brooke and Beaver Local UL is both are 7:30 starts. The only Saturday night game is Steubenville Catholic Central going to Wheeling Central. Steubenville Catholic Central, you watch them a little bit, 0-1. A lot of new faces. They're going to get much better.
Yeah.
They're going to get much better. Wheeling Central, they'll beat Clarksburg Notre Dame, I think, 54-21. Scored like 35 straight points.
Yeah. Again, another bounce-back game, but they have to play on the road.
On the road, at Wheeling Central, who right now is number 1 in the state in West Virginia Class A.
Yeah. It's almost like a battle between Catholic Central. I mean, I know Catholic Central and Madonna are playing each other at the end of the year, but it's kind of like that game again. A really tough team in Central. They can bounce back against a tough team across the
Central is going to be fine throughout. As the year goes, they're going to be good.
One of the biggest players I've seen.
And Chris Murphy's just all over the place. They just have to cut down on the mistakes they made. And a little more ball control would be a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it's just a completely different team.
It is.
So it's tough for them to. I mean, it was just week 1, but just seeing a game under the lights is got to be so much different than what you go through in practice and in the scrimmages and all that. So, yeah, they'll have to bounce back.
I think they'll be fine. It's just a tough bounce back when you're playing the number 1 team in the state in West Virginia.
Yeah.
And you're at
Weir, Harrison Central.
We're at Harrison Central.
I'm picking Weir.
That's going to be a really good football game. There's no doubt about it. On the grass, we'll see how speed goes there.
Yeah.
But Weir stays healthy. They could be scary. Week 1's done. McElwain's ready to go home. He's sleeping. He's napping. We miss Younce.
Yeah, hope he's doing well.
Michael D., do you miss Younce?
No.
All right. Good luck to all teams, and we'll see you next week. See you. Bye. Later. Have a nice day. Pick this up. Go buy it. $2.95. Thank you. Bye. See ya. Oh, it fell.
We're done. Now, by the way, I appreciate you wearing as close to green as possible. So that'll be impossible for me to key you out.
I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
So the beast is. I'm going to have to mask you. Oh.
I'm really sorry. You know, hey, I have an orange shirt out there. You want me to get it? Seriously.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Andrew Connor is a maniac, a fun maniac, but he's a maniac. Kropka's a little more calm, a little more, a little more chill, a little more relaxed. Still intense, don't get me wrong. It's just different ends of the spectrum intense. Connor cannot stand still at all. Even if he tried, he couldn't stand still. Kropka's, he will walk up and down the sidelines. I don't think Andrew knows what walking up and down the sidelines means, to be honest with you.